Welcome! E aí, galera, beleza? Bem-vindo à nossa comunidade.
Welcome to our community.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's OGC here. Today we have a new episode. We're going to look at all of the Lich troops. We're going to go over them. I'm going to tell you guys why Lich is so popular right now. There's a few different reasons, and we are going to dissect each troop individually to the pros and cons, the strengths, figure out what you should do if you are considering going to Lich, because it is the new in thing that everyone's doing, and if you want to be a hipster like everybody else, just go to Lich because it is by far the easiest race in the game to play. So anyways, before we fully jump in, go down below, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not subscribed already. In the description of this video and all videos, there's a bunch of useful information. You can join our Patreon if you want to further support this channel. There's a merch shop, there's Discord information, there's a bunch of goodies down there. So let's jump in and see why Lich is probably the easiest race in the game to play, and also why all the hipsters are going to Lich right now instead of staying true to their race that they prefer. So, Lich has two major benefits. Number one, the biggest thing is it has troops that like you don't have to spend anything on. You can resurrect your army. So when it comes to the skeletons for Lich, as far as the Stalkers and the Warlocks, you can get those for free. You get them for free through summoning with the summoners. I don't even know what they're called now. Necrolytes. So it's very easy to replenish your army, and if you do choose to create troops, the cooldown to actually make the troops is so short that if you do them one by one for the gold, you will never have to use any troop rush. It is broken. The cons to it is the skeletons are relatively weak. However, that's not really true anymore. There is one other reason why people really like Lich, and this is the reason that I like Lich. They have multiple types of troops for their frontline and their backline that are different. So what do I mean by that? They have a very good frontline troop of skeletons. The skeleton's race is undead, so if the enemy uses a undead predation dragon, that's okay. You don't have to switch races. All you do is you switch to the Dune Lords, which are magical creatures, and you can get around that predation. So that's true for the frontline and backline. Backline, they have the Warlocks, Summoners, and also Spiders. Two of those are undeads. One is magic. Because of that, it's very hard to use an appropriate predation dragon against Lich, especially if that player is incorporating some diversity as far as their troops. Most people, realistically, the vast majority of people are going to go with skeletons and nothing but skeletons, so help me skeletons. But you'll find some smarter players that have a blend if their research and chakra is high enough. Most people don't have the luxury of having everything maxed out with chakra and research, but those that do, they can do some really crazy stuff with this. So, let's start off first and jump in and take a look at these Stalkers. Why are the Stalkers useful for Lich? So, number one, they are free. You can resurrect them, or they are dirt cheap to actually make, and you don't have to use Troop Rush to make them. This is a very good thing for them. With the Zen Stalkers, they have an ability that every auto attack, they will make the target take more magical damage. This is fantastic. However, there is the Zyre. The Zyre. We are combining Dire with the Zyre now. There is the Dire Stalker. Right now, these are pretty much the most annoying thing in the game. As you can probably tell, I don't like them. I think that their mechanic is it's like playing Teemo in League of Legends. It's just trolly. It's not really user friendly for the best gaming experience for both sides, including Lich players, because I doubt that Lich players enjoy doing 2-minute PvPs every single PvP. That seems pretty boring to me. But anyways, the reason why the Dire Stalkers is so broken is because of Eternal Will. After they die, they're still alive for 3 seconds. That one unit will die, and everything that was attacking it is just going to keep attacking it for 3 more seconds. So it stalls out the fights for so long. because they're able to solo out the fights and gain pretty much invincibility for 3 seconds once they die. Because of that, they do make decent frontline tanks, highly annoying to go against, very good when coupled with things like Gazul and the other staple Lich heroes. So we do have a couple options when it comes to the Stalkers. Honestly, go with the Dire Stalkers, and for the vast majority of players out there, those are going to be your bread and butter when it comes to the front line. The other frontline troops that we have are Scorpions. So Scorpions are a little bit more beefy per Scorpion. However, they're just not as popular as the Dire Skeletons because they don't have that broken ability. They take a very long time to train, so if you have some casualties, it's going to take you a long time to rebuild all of those troops. Because of that, you don't see too many people running with Scorpions. However, there are people that use Scorpions. So there are two different types. There is the Zen Scorpions, and there is the Dire Scorpions. So the Zen ones will gain more healing from their active ability. So I should mention, Scorpions have an active ability that heals them, similar to Vega for Vega's healing, but the Scorpion's healing is much better. So the Zen ones makes that healing even better, so it's like the best. They also have a thing called Primal Shield. Primal Shield makes it so that for the first 15 seconds of the battle, they take 60% reduced damage. That makes them very tanky at the beginning of the battle. You can also do the healing on them, which, remember, if you do that, it's going to use up one of your active skill slots. So keep that in consideration. The Skeletons tend to be easier because you just set them and forget them, and they're going to be annoying for everybody. The Scorpions, if you want the Scorpions to live, you're going to have to kind of tend to them, similar to that of a bonsai tree, where it just takes some effort and dedication while watching them. So the Zen ones have improved healing. If we look at the Dire Scorpions, the Dire Scorpions have a thing so that every time they take damage, the attackers lose a little bit of health per second, and they have reduced attack speed. This can stack up a bunch. It can be very good. For whichever one of you decide to go for, that's completely up to you. Again, for the vast majority of people, you'll end up using the Dire Skeletons. And if you do go Lich, make sure that you use or you have enough chakra for the Dire Skeletons. So next we have Warlocks. Warlocks are the most insane DPS stuff out there in the game. And part of that is because of Vengeful Spirit. It does not affect massive units, but attacks deal magic damage equivalent to 0.4% of the target's max health. That is insane during a fight. 0.4% of health is absolutely insane. There are two different types. There is the Dire and the Zen. Because of this, you have some options. You can pick whichever one you want. If you go through the replays and look at what people are using, it does go between the two. So the Dire ones have a 10% chance to root targets, so it will slow them down, reduce their evade, and they'll take more magic damage. But if we take a peek at the Zen ones, the Zen ones cause the final blow to explode, dealing poison damage to nearby enemies, negating moral boosts of any humanoids. So this could be a very good counter for the humans. Whichever one you pick, feel free to go between the two and try them out. Warlocks are also free to make. You just need the summoners to actually get them. From there, I mean, go ham with them. Go ham or go home. So the next troop that we're going to take a peek at is the Spider. And the reason why we're going to skip over the summoners is because they're a very unique troop type, and we're going to go straight to Spiders. Spiders, at the time of recording this video, do not have an awakening out yet. It is coming someday in the future. But Spiders deal... think of Spiders as heavy artillery. They will shoot a poison thing out. It's going to do some pretty good damage. And it's also going to put poisoned out. They also have a hero that boosts them, Rose, with the spider web down. They're going to shoot and move even faster. They summon little broodlings out. They are really good. Honestly, if I was a hardcore Lich player, Lich reminds me of human in the sense where I could find use for every one of their troops. I would definitely include at least a spider or two in my main formation, simply because they can add so much to the stalling. Since the Dyer's Stalkers take so long to die, the spiders can actually put out some decent damage, especially once their awakening is out. It will be interesting to see when that happens. But they have multiple different types of front lines that do different things. They have multiple different types of range. They are a pretty versatile race. And the spiders are something that's really unique because the troop itself summons more mini troops and it does some pretty decent damage. So I've always been a sucker for spiders. I like spiders. I'm biased. Putting that out there, totally biased. I hope that the Awakenings bring it back because the spiders, man, if anyone was around when Lich was all about the scorpions and spiders, that was a wonderful time. I guess the problem with spiders now is Rufio can just jump back, one-shot them, do a whirlwind, one-shot another one. I guess that's probably the biggest problem, but hey, they look pretty cool and they're terrifying. So that leads us with our last troop type. The last troop type is the Necrolyte. So the Necrolyte, this is a very unique troop to Lich. You can resurrect humanoids and get them as either Stalkers or Warlocks. And if it's in the real world or in like the events in the real world, they will stay in your army as long as you have the available gold cap for it. So what do I mean by the available gold cap for it? If we look at mine, if I summoned in a battle or resurrected any gold stalkers or warlocks, at the end of the battle, they would not join my army. Because up above, right up there, whoo, wow, I just turned all funky colors. Right up there, I have too many gold units. Because I have too many gold units, I cannot accrue any more. However, because my silver is not maxed out, if I summoned any silver skeletons or warlocks, then they would join my army permanently afterwards. Those summoned troops, if I go to sell them or disband them, will not yield me any resources. Because of this, filling up your garrison wall is super easy. All you need to do is spend some time and attack human guard towers or human players. You can resurrect up a storm, and it is pretty fascinating with what you can do with these guys. I also highly recommend. I don't see it very much right now. I see people using like 3 packs of warlocks. I don't understand. If you're fighting humans, grab 1 pack of these necrolytes at least, throw them in. You are going to mess up the human players so much by this. And when it comes to if you go with Zen or Dire, if we take a peek at the Zen, it will heal nearby undead units every 12 seconds, grant them damage mitigation for 5 seconds. Honestly, I really like the Zen. I think, say I was fighting against Sylph, I would want to go with the Dire ones. What the Dire ones will do is they'll summon like more stronger ones, and because of that, I think that it will be more annoying for a race like Sylph to get really strong skeletons in their backline to just kind of mess things up, versus the Zen buffing your front line. If you are not running skeletons at all for your front line, then go with the Dire Necrolytes. If you are running with skeletons on the front line, I would go with the Zen Necrolytes. But that's just me. That's just me. That damage mitigation is 30% is 30%, guys. And the skeletons are pretty weak, so any damage mitigation you can get on them is huge. So I guess the last thing that I will say is, if you're going to Lich temporarily, just say you're going there for dual towers, maybe you're going there for an event or whatever reason, you're going there for a set period of time. Call it a week, call it a day, call it an hour. be very careful when converting your garrison over. If you create skeletons, you cannot undo that. You will be permanently lost. So if I am human and I switch all of my archers to warlocks, I will not be able to convert them back into archers when I go back to human. It's just, it is what it is. Same thing with the spears. You will be out so many troops if you do that. So I highly recommend be very careful with what you convert on your wall if you are not going to stay Lich for a long period of time. Trust me, been there, done that, played Lich for a long time, although, again, I was just going along with the meta. Not worth having to rebuild your entire wall just so you could do well for a week. The other thing is, when your skeletons die, not your spiders, not your scorpions, when your skeletons die, including the mummies, they don't go to the hospital. They have a chance of being resurrected and immediately being put back into your wall, or they die. There is no in between. They're either going to survive and be reincarnated and everything else and put back onto your wall at a very high percentage, or they're going to permanently die after the end of the battle. Because of that, on a war server, Lich is probably the best race. On a war server, Lich is amazing because your troops you can make for free, or with minimal resources and 0 troop rush. That alone makes Lich insanely strong for a war server. The other thing is, your garrison, you don't have to heal your garrison if you're just deploying skeletons. It's absolutely insane. So anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm getting way too full of undeadness. With that, guys, I think that will wrap up the video for today. That's a very basic introduction into the Lich troops. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Check out the description below for Patreon, merch shop, Discord, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.